How do you know I'm not a gangster or used to be a gangster? I've been
I mean,
in the
were you?
music industry for 30 years.
Yeah, I mean, the industry's filled with gangsters.
Matthew Knowles is done playing nice, and this time, he's not whispering behind closed doors or brushing scandal under the rug. No, the man who built Destiny's Child from the ground up is reportedly unleashing a quiet storm against Jay-Z, and the catalyst? A paternity case that refuses to stay buried and a daughter whose name keeps getting dragged into headlines she didn't sign up for. Sources close to the Knowles camp say Matthew has had it with the Carter Empire's chaos casting shadows over Beyonce's legacy. The word? He's telling her, behind closed doors, it might be time to walk away.
Who my father was, and for the case not to go how I was planning it, I really thought it was gonna go different than.
This isn't just fatherly concern, this is an insider with a front row seat to decades of rising tension. And now, a breaking point. According to whispers out of Hubston, Matthew believes the latest allegations surrounding Jay-Z aren't just noise, they're a full-on credibility meltdown. And he's reportedly pressing Beyonce to consider protecting her brand, her children, and her mental peace by legally distancing herself from the man whose secrets might finally be catching up to him. And let's be real, when Matthew Knowles, the man who once managed Beyonce through global superstardom, starts threatening to expose what he knows, that's not just tabloid chatter, that's war.
I can only say as a father that I hope I instill with them the values that they would want to look for in a man. And I think I did when Beyonce wrote on her, I think it was her first album, maybe it was the second one, the song Daddy, that she hoped that she found someone just like her daddy.
The timing is no coincidence. Just as Jay-Z scrambles to defend himself from a lawsuit tying him to Diddy's disturbing legal scandal, an old ghost from his past has stepped into the light. Ramir Satterthwaite, a man who has been fighting since his teens to prove that Jay-Z, Sean Corey Carter, is his biological father. For over a decade, the story lived in courtrooms and whispered interviews. Now, new DNA test orders are threatening to shatter the narrative. Ramir claims Carter's legal team fraudulently dodged a court-ordered test, misrepresented property records, and essentially buried the case with red tape and sealed documents. And now, with Wanza, Ramir's mother, no longer alive to speak for herself, her affidavit alleging that she and Jay-Z had a fling when she was just 16 is being re-examined under a very different spotlight. This could be the final fracture in Jay-Z's image as a mogul, father, and husband. If the DNA test confirms what Ramir has been shouting into the void for years, Jay-Z isn't just a man with a past. He's a man who may have spent decades dodging responsibility. That's where Matthew reportedly draws the line. Behind the scenes, insiders claim he's furious Beyonce has been left to deal with the fallout, shielding their kids from headlines and whispers at school, all while Jay remains tight-lipped, hoping the press cycle will move on. Not this time. Not with this much at stake, and not with Matthew threatening to release alleged communications between Jay-Z's legal camp and Wanda's representatives, which some say could show a pattern of intimidation and deliberate obstruction.
How did you feel initially when Beyonce started dating Jay-Z, who is very successful, but he's also, generally considered a gangster rapper?
The question is, what else does Matthew Knowles know? Some say he's prepared to take things further if Beyonce won't. Allegedly, he's holding on to details about private settlements, shady conversations, and a long-rumored blackmail fund, a secret pool of money Jay-Z has supposedly kept on standby to squash scandals before they hit page 6. That's the chatter among former Rockefeller affiliates, one of whom described the fund as a panic vault for emergencies just like this one. We haven't seen receipts yet, but the pattern fits: sudden case dismissals, conveniently timed NDAS, and legal representatives who suddenly misspoke in court. One New Jersey attorney even admitted to misrepresenting Jay-Z's property ownership, a move that helped the rapper sidestep the paternity test and led to the case being thrown out. According to Ramir's guardian, Gr. Lily Coley, it wasn't a legal misstep. It was fraud, plain and simple. It's no surprise that the whispers are getting louder, with Jay-Z's name suddenly entangled in the legal wreckage surrounding Diddy, including that horrifying allegation involving a minor at an after-party in 2000. The public tolerance for ambiguity is shrinking fast. Matthew allegedly sees the writing on the wall, and the quiet suggestion that he's already prepared his own legal counteroffensive should Beyonce stay silent has insiders in LA on edge. Because if he goes public, if he hands over records, emails, or even sworn affidavits, this could trigger a domino effect that leaves no corner of Jay-Z's empire untouched.
So what happens now is this is simply a civil complaint. And in a civil complaint, it goes through the technical legal process. Now, the distinction, Jessica, between civil and criminal, of course, is that civil is for monetary damages, right? The system can only reward you with money. There's allegations that this 13-year-old is suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, suffered depression, etc. So now you go to fact-finding, right?
Let's not forget, this isn't the first time Jay-Z has faced uncomfortable questions about his past. Back in 1999, he narrowly avoided prison after stabbing a man in a Manhattan nightclub. Then there's the rumored fallout with Damon Dash over Aaliyah, a triangle no one likes to talk about, but that keeps creeping back into view as new lawsuits dig into old affiliations. We already know there were serious tensions after Aaliyah allegedly pulled away from Jay-Z to be with Dash. The overlap in timelines, the whispers about romantic competition, and that eerie sense of unfinished business have always clung to Jay-Z's name like perfume in a closed room. Now, with Rimir's accusations pressing hard against Jay's past and Diddy's collapse happening in real time, even fans are beginning to ask what's been hiding in plain sight. The bigger picture? If any part of this blackmail fund theory proves true, it's not just a betrayal of Beyonce, it's a betrayal of the entire narrative that built Jay-Z into a billionaire, a man who came from the Marcy Projects and climbed to the top of the world by talent and grit. That image doesn't hold if his success was silently propped up by lawyers with creative paperwork and a bottomless checkbook for silence. And that's what has Matthew Knowles furious. According to one longtime friend of the Knowles family, Matthew believes the time has come for the truth, not just to clear Beyonce's name, but to draw a line between her legacy and Jay-Z's alleged trail of deceit.
And now removed her. So civil complaint, simply allegations, needs to be proven in a court of law, but if true, it could rise to the level of criminality, and we'll see what happens or if the DA looks and investigates.
Because what happens if more Rimir's surface? What happens if the fund isn't enough? Matthew may not be threatening Jay-Z directly, but sources close to the situation say his warnings are crystal clear. Walk away now or get buried with the secrets. And we're not just talking about paternity. There are quiet murmurs that Matthew's not the only one holding receipts. A former Rockefeller staffer claims there's a stash of old communications that could connect dots Jay-Z has tried for years to keep apart, from Rymir to Diddy to the darker corners of music industry parties that some now fear were more sinister than anyone wanted to admit. And still, no official word from Beyonce. No press statement, no leaked Instagram unfollow, just silence. The kind of silence that feels less like calm and more like the eye of a storm. Because if Matthew's preparing to go public, and if the court forces that DNA test, and if Rymir is proven right, what else might come up with him? What other names, payments, favors, flights, sealed court documents, what else is buried, waiting for the right moment to explode?
Now, with respect to evidentiary value, yes, it happened 24 years ago, right? More than 24 years ago. But in the allegations, there's a few things. Number one, there's allegation that another celebrity was present at the time, right, in addition to other people. Number two, there's the claim by the victim, right, that she left, that she went and she was seen by a gas attendant who saw her in distress.
And while Jay-Z's legal walls have kept the truth at bay for years, it's Beyonce's silence that now echoes loudest. Not a word from her camp, no statement, no carefully worded denial, just nothing. And in the world of celebrity, where silence often screams the loudest, people are starting to ask, is this Beyonce buying time, or is she quietly building an exit plan? Insiders in the PR world are hinting that her team is working around the clock, crafting contingency strategies and monitoring social media fallout like it's a crisis command center. Posts are being vetted, comments are being scrubbed, and appearances, once clockwork reliable, have begun to vanish from the calendar without explanation. Fans noticed. Beyonce skipped out on 2 high-profile industry events this season. No red carpet, no virtual shout-out, not even a background shot from her glam squad. Instead, her Instagram turned cryptic. A photo of a dove, a captionless carousel, a throwback to her Destiny's Child era. Just her, no Jay, no kids. The Beehive went into full theory mode. Was it symbolism, a signal? One insider close to her stylist claimed she's reevaluating everything. And that choice of words didn't sound like fashion, it sounded like life.
And that, of course, the allegation is that Mr. Combs did the same thing. And so if those facts are actually accurate, it would require an investigation by prosecutors. And if true, right, you could pursue it criminally.
Behind the velvet curtains, the tension between Matthew Knowles and Jay-Z reportedly stretches back decades. This isn't just about DNA or one lawsuit, it's personal. Matthew never publicly embraced Jay-Z the way he did other collaborators. He was the architect of Beyoncé's image long before Roc Nation had a hand in her career, and many say he's long suspected Jay-Z's rise came with shadows no one wanted to inspect. Now those shadows are turning into legal filings, sealed documents, and public whispers that won't go away. The courtroom may soon become the battlefield. And Matthew Knowles, with his deep Rolodex and ruthless streak, isn't someone you want on the other side. Jay-Z's legal machine has always been a fortress, one of the the Reimer case are a textbook of legal gymnastics, changing jurisdictions, sealed records, questionable testimony, and a long trail of motions designed to delay, dismiss, and deny. But one particular hearing is raising eyebrows. Jay-Z's attorney misspoke about his real estate holdings, an error that conveniently exempted the rapper from a court-ordered DNA test. That's not a typo, that's a lifeline. And Reimer's camp is now accusing the Carter team of orchestrating a fraudulent defense to block the truth. The kind of move that doesn't just bend the law, it breaks it.
Now, he, of course, is more than annoyed, would be an understatement.
Yeah.
He has a family and he has a lot to protect, including his brand. But to the extent that he's saying, hey, come after me criminally, that could be likely. Why do I say that? Because rape in New York, and what's alleged in this complaint, is forcible compulsion. What that means in English is that it's saying that he held her down, raped her.
For years, the legal battle played out like a procedural chess game. Delays, dismissals, sealed motions. But now a far more personal twist has emerged. According to a recent filing in interviews with court-adjacent sources, Ramir Satterthwaite isn't just claiming to be Jay-Z's biological son. He's now alleging that Jay-Z has always known. That revelation changes everything. It's a decades-long betrayal of silence. Reimer sources to keep the issue at arm's length. And that possibility reframes the whole story, not as a man avoiding legal entanglements, but as a father choosing deliberate erasure. His claim lands like a thunderclap, especially considering the carefully crafted image Jay-Z has built as a devoted father to his 3 children with Beyonce. The thought that he could be selectively embracing fatherhood, publicly celebrating one family while secretly abandoning another, feels like a gut punch. It also forces us to re-examine his past lyrics, his family-centric branding, and his so-called commitment to legacy. If Reimer's allegations hold water, this isn't just a case of legal evasion. It's emotional abandonment, not only of a boy who grew up asking questions no one would answer, but of a woman who allegedly carried that burden alone until her passing.
I want to start with just the statement from Jay-Z, which is so forceful in its denial. I just read a teeny part of it, it's long, where he says that they should file a criminal complaint. Is that even possible at this point?
The emotional toll on Reimer has been quietly building in the background, away from headlines and paparazzi. While Jay-Z was climbing Forbes lists and building billion-dollar businesses, Reimer says he was battling courts, grief, and identity confusion, all while living in the shadow of a man the world worshipped but who he claims never once acknowledged him. Psychological experts we've consulted say the kind of prolonged rejection alleged in this case can leave long-lasting trauma, especially when the other parent is no longer alive. This isn't just about wealth or status, this is about emotional closure. And Reimer says he's been denied it every step of the way. It also raises questions about Beyonce's own awareness. If Jay-Z knew and chose not to disclose the truth, then the betrayal doesn't stop at his alleged son. It extends to his wife and their entire family structure. Did Beyonce ever suspect the truth? Did she ask? Or is she now learning alongside the rest of the world in real time, under global scrutiny? Either way, the emotional damage is seismic, because what looks like silence from Jay-Z may no longer be a legal strategy. It may be guilt, and if that guilt ever becomes undeniable, it won't just taint his reputation. It could upend his marriage from the inside out.
In a blistering statement, Jay-Z accuses Jane Doe's attorney of trying to blackmail him. He said further, quote, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree?"
And that's the part that leaves fans breathless. The idea that behind the luxury homes and perfect holiday photos lies a fracture that started decades ago and never truly healed. Reimer's claim that he's been knowingly ignored makes the scandal intensely human and heartbreakingly raw. He wasn't trying to disrupt an empire, he says. He was just trying to find his father. And now, after years of closed doors and legal barriers, the most damning accusation isn't in a courtroom. It's in the silence that never answered him. All this is unraveling while Jay-Z faces fallout from a separate lawsuit tying him to Diddy's scandal-laced inner circle. One lawsuit, 2 names, and decades of intertwined business. It's the kind of connection that once made headlines for its billionaire glamour. Now, it's being scrutinized for something far darker. If the courts ever decide that past events were covered up with money and influence, Jay-Z's entire empire could become radioactive. Roc Nation, Tidal, his luxury partnerships, his public persona as the clean-cut mogul who outran his past, suddenly up for review.
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was sexually assaulted by both men.
And Beyonce? She's left with a decision no woman should have to make in the public eye. Does she protect the family or protect herself? As a mother, her instinct may be to shield her children, but as a global brand, her silence could be seen as complicity. One former PR executive who worked on her early solo projects said it bluntly. Beyonce knows the power of the narrative. If she's not speaking, it's because she's choosing her moment very, very carefully. Some believe she's waiting for the DNA results before making any public move. Others think she's simply distancing herself from a man she no longer recognizes. Meanwhile, the Knowles versus Carter feud is teetering on the edge. Matthew, according to those in his circle, is done keeping family secrets, if the test confirms Rymer's claims. He reportedly has a dossier ready, one that includes communications between legal teams, notes from early meetings, even private footage from backstage encounters. And if what he says he's holding is real, it won't just stain Jay-Z, it could blow the lid off the Carter legacy entirely. The couple, once seen as music royalty, might be facing a historic unraveling. Public, raw, and unspinnable.
And we do have some breaking news that we want to bring to you. It was being reported by TMZ and now Fox News. We are learning that Jay-Z is accused of raping a 13-year-old girl. That is new in the Diddy lawsuit.
We've seen scandals come and go in Hollywood, but this is something deeper, a slow-motion implosion of trust, image, and legacy. And if the dominoes continue to fall, if one paternity claim leads to more scrutiny, more lawsuits, more insiders flipping, then the man once hailed as hip-hop's kingmaker might find himself dethroned by the very truth he spent millions trying to bear. So now we ask you, if the DNA results confirm Rymer's story, can Jay-Z survive the storm that follows? Will Beyonce stay silent or strike out on her own to reclaim the narrative? And just how far is Matthew Knowles willing to go to protect his daughter and rewrite the history books? The cracks are spreading, the silence is screaming, and the truth might be one court decision away from turning the Carter empire to dust. Let us know what you think, and until next time, stay curious, stay bold, and watch the throne, because it might not be standing much longer.